I think.
The USFL was an American football league that played for 3 seasons, from 1983 until 1985. The league played a spring-summer schedule in each of its active seasons. However, in the 1986 season, they scheduled to play in the fall, directly competing against the long-established National Football League, also known as the NFL. But unfortunately, the USFL ceased operations before that season was ever scheduled to begin. On the field, the USFL was regarded as a great product. Many coaches and team executives had NFL experience, and many future top NFL players like Jim Kelly, Herschel Walker, and Doug Flutie got their start in the new league, several of whom were later inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame or College Football Hall of Fame. Everything was looking bright for the league, especially with several notable players and former Heisman winners signing with them. At the time, the USFL actually signed the largest pro football contract in history to Herschel Walker of the New Jersey Generals, who were regarded as one of the best teams in the USFL. In 1986, the USFL voted to move from a spring to fall schedule to compete directly with the NFL. This was done at the urging of the New Jersey Generals' majority owner, Donald Trump. At this point in time, Trump was far from a politician. He was a well-liked 37-year-old billionaire, the son of Fred Trump, known for his good looks, charming attitude, and his fat pockets, with a love for sports, specifically football. This move was strategic, in hopes that the USFL could file a lawsuit against the NFL, claiming they were in control of an illegal monopoly, while hoping for a merger or large settlement from the NFL.
I think we have an excellent lawsuit. We have a case of a total monopoly by the NFL, and we expect to be successful in court. We're not doing this for any other reason.
If God wanted football in the spring, he wouldn't have created baseball.
The USFL was very successful in the spring, but most viewers agreed with Trump that football was meant for the fall, as baseball was limited to the USFL's market share. The lawsuit was first heard by Judge Peter K. Leisure. The USFL claimed that the NFL had bullied ABC, CBS, and NBC into not televising USFL games in the fall. They also claimed that the NFL had a specific plan to eliminate the USFL, the Porter presentation. In particular, the USFL claimed that the NFL conspired to ruin the Invaders and the Generals. The USFL sought damages of $567 million, which should have been tripled to $1.7 billion under the antitrust law. Even more importantly, they hoped to void the NFL's contracts with the 3 major networks. The USFL proposed 2 solutions to their grievance. Either force the NFL to negotiate new television contracts with only 2 networks, or force the NFL to split into 2 competing 14-team leagues, each limited to a contract with 1 major network. All but one of the league's 28 teams were named as co-defendants in the lawsuit. Al Davis, the owner of the then Los Angeles Raiders, was a major witness for the USFL and had been excluded from the lawsuit in exchange for his testimony. ABC Sports' Howard Cosell was also a key witness for the USFL. The case went to trial in the spring of 1986 and lasted 42 days. On July 29th, a 6-person jury handed down the verdict that devastated the USFL, although they had technically won the case. The jury declared that the NFL was an illegal monopoly, and found that the NFL had willfully acquired and maintained monopoly status in professional football through predatory tactics.
They just put every roadblock in your way, which they can do by virtue of their economic muscle. And that...
Unfortunately, they rejected the USFL's other claims. The jury found that the USFL had changed its strategy to a more risky goal of forcing a merger with the NFL. Furthermore, the switch to a fall schedule caused the loss of several major markets such as Philadelphia, Denver, Houston, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Miami, and the Tampa Bay area. Most importantly, the jury found that the NFL did not attempt to force the USFL off television. In essence, the jury felt that while the USFL was harmed by the NFL's monopolization of pro football, most of its problems were due to its own mismanagement. It awarded the USFL nominal damages of just $1, which was tripled under antitrust laws to $3. So unfortunately for the USFL, the verdict was in favor of them, but the outcome was not. The USFL had essentially stacked its future on the outcome of the suit, which it considered the television-related claims to be the heart of its case. On August 4th, 4 days after the announcement of the verdict, the USFL opted to suspend operations for the 1986 season. Ultimately, the USFL could not fully blame the NFL for their failures. They were in deep financial difficulty before the lawsuit, and you could really claim that the lawsuit was a desperate heave, hoping to score off of some of the NFL's fame. The winning judgment, though, was ultimately to blame. If the NFL had a monopoly, which the court upheld, they certainly should have paid more to the upcoming league. Unfortunately, though, we never got to see the USFL and NFL directly compete. The NFL continued on, eventually becoming the most valuable and watched pro sports league in the country, while implementing some of the rule changes that the USFL devised, such as a 2-point conversion, instant replay, and various methods of on-field camera use. The NFL also created more expansion teams, and moved into many of the cities that the USFL was forced to abandon. For example, the New York Giants and Jets still play in New Jersey, a market proven only by the New Jersey Generals and Donald Trump. As for Donald Trump, regardless of how you feel about him, he would go on to accomplish bigger and far better things. He became an American entertainment icon in the early 2000s with The Apprentice, and later with The Celebrity Apprentice, which was good enough to earn him a Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame. But he was not finished there. Later he would go on to run for President of the United States, winning the Electoral College and thus becoming one of the most powerful people on the face of the planet, and simultaneously becoming one of the most loved and hated and most discussed on this episode of Famous Feud.